There's something sacred about the stillness of the night. When the world sleeps, heaven listens. When everyone else has gone quiet, God starts to speak. You see, midnight is not just another hour on the clock. It's a spiritual doorway, a moment when heaven and earth feel closer than ever before. In the silence of midnight, when you whisper a prayer, the angels move, chains break, and darkness begins to tremble. The Bible is filled with moments that happened in the dark. When Paul and Silas were thrown into prison, beaten and chained, they didn't wait for morning. They didn't wait for comfort. At midnight, they prayed and sang praises to God. And suddenly, the ground shook, the doors opened, and every chain fell loose. That wasn't coincidence. That was the power of midnight prayer. Because midnight represents transition, the end of one day and the birth of another. The moment heaven declares, your night season is over. Some of you are in that kind of night season right now. You've cried until you had no words left. You've prayed and felt only silence. You've asked, God, where are you? But listen to me, He's not sleeping. God doesn't rest when you're in pain. He's the one who works the night shift of your soul. Every tear you cry in the dark is seen. Every whisper from your heart is heard. Heaven's most powerful movements often begin in silence. Midnight prayers are not about fancy words. They're about raw faith. That kind of faith that says, even if I don't see it, I'll still believe. Even if I'm tired, I'll still trust. Even if I'm breaking, I'll still kneel. That's the kind of prayer that moves heaven. Because God doesn't respond to perfection. He responds to persistence. You may not have strength to shout, but even your whisper at midnight carries the weight of eternity. The moment you choose to pray instead of give up, heaven writes it down. There's a reason why the enemy attacks you hardest at night, because he knows that the night belongs to those who pray. If he can keep you silent, he can keep you bound. But the moment you open your mouth and cry out to God, darkness loses its grip. The enemy fears your midnight voice more than your daytime victory, because he knows that the one who learns to worship in the dark will always walk in light. Maybe you've been walking through your own midnight, the kind of midnight that no one sees, the one hidden behind your smile, the one that makes you question everything. But God says tonight, this is the hour I'm closest to you. You're not abandoned. You're not forgotten. You're not praying into emptiness. When you whisper His name at midnight, you're not calling into darkness. You're calling light into your situation, because even the smallest prayer can shake the largest prison. Midnight prayer is not just about asking, it's about surrender. It's where you stop fighting alone and start trusting the unseen hands that are holding you. It's where the weak become warriors and the broken become whole. That's what Paul and Silas discovered in that prison cell. They didn't pray for escape, they prayed for encounter, and God answered with freedom. When they praised at midnight, the walls didn't just fall around them, they fell inside them. The fear broke, the pain lost its voice. Faith rose, heaven moved. When you pray at midnight, you're declaring to every power of darkness, you will not win this battle. Because at midnight, you remind your soul that God's promises don't expire with the daylight. David said in Psalm 119, verse 62, "At midnight I will rise to give thanks unto you because of your righteous judgments." He understood something most people miss. Gratitude in the dark brings a victory in the light. So when you can't see the outcome, praise Him anyway. When your heart aches, thank Him anyway. Because that midnight praise is the sound of chains breaking. Maybe tonight, you're not just fighting sleep, you're fighting fear. You're fighting doubt. You're fighting the thought that maybe God forgot you. But hear me, He hasn't. God moves in the moments that feel still. He's healing you while you wait. He's fighting for you while you're praying. He's working while you're weeping. The power of midnight prayer is not in how loud you cry, but in how deeply you trust. Because faith isn't proven in sunlight, it's forged in darkness. And when you stand firm through the night, you're telling the enemy, my God doesn't sleep, so neither will my faith. So when midnight comes, don't curse it. Don't fear it. Use it. That hour isn't your defeat, it's your doorway. A time when heaven bends close and angels walk softly through your prayers. You may not see it, but in that moment, heaven is rewriting your story. Chains are breaking, peace is forming, and a new day is already rising on the horizon. So tonight, when the world grows quiet and your room feels heavy with thoughts, whisper his name. Because midnight is not the end. It's the beginning of your miracle. God's listening. The heavens are open. And your prayer, even the smallest one, can shake the gates of hell. Because there is hidden power in midnight prayers. The kind of power that turns pain into purpose, fear into faith, and silence into songs of victory. So don't be afraid of the night. That's where God works the most. Because when you pray at midnight, light always follows.